Welcome everybody, this is Alan with Daily Armor of God. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're all doing well. This is reading the Bible in 123 days, and we're on day 53. Today we'll be reading the last chapter, 2nd Chronicles 36, and then starting Ezra, reading chapters 1 through 8. Now, before we begin, I wanted to point out something. Our reading plan is going according to the order of the Bible. However, the Bible itself is not completely in chronological order. So I pulled up a chart here to show you guys what we're going to be reading. Next is Ezra. Ezra, if the Bible was in complete chronological order, it would be towards the very end of the Old Testament. All these. So Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. All these books right here that you see on the right hand corner are they're all going to be towards the end. So what we've read so far, I'll give you a basic layout. We saw Genesis, Exodus, they came out of Egypt, and then Numbers was like more law, Deuteronomy law, Joshua leading everybody into the promised land. Judges is when the time of the judges before they had kings, and there's lots of judges that rose up to save the children of Israel. Then we have Samuel, which, as you know, shows the first king, Saul, and then King David, obviously. And then Chronicles is like a recap of Samuel and Kings. Kings obviously is about the kings. And then after Kings, we get the exile, right? All the evil kings, which is where we're at, recapping the evil kings. And then there's the exile, the 70 years in exile, is Daniel and Ezekiel, which we're going to be reading later. But this chart here is the chronological order, not how it's set up in the Bible. The Bible almost has it right, but it's as far as chronological goes. So what we're going to be reading, Ezra, is towards the very end, would be towards the end, because technically it's missing Daniel and Ezekiel, which is when they're in exile, and it's skipping right to Ezra, which is where they get to come back from exile. So it could be a little confusing for somebody who doesn't know much about Bible history, but just know that there is a 70-year exile in between what we're reading in 2nd Chronicles 36 and Ezra. So Daniel and Ezekiel will be reading later, but we are skipping forward 70 years approximately to Ezra. Then we're going to be reading Nehemiah next, then we're reading Esther next. So all three of these books, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, should technically be towards the very end of the Old Testament. Just wanted to point that out before we start reading, so you guys don't get confused. So if you have any questions, let me know about that. You can also search chronological order of the books of the Bible, and you can get there's so many different charts like this that will help you with your reading. But just know that the Bible is not completely in chronological order. So as far as history goes, right, there's a reason why the books are set up that way in the Bible. As far as history goes, it does skip around, and this is what the chronological order would be. So, we're right here in 2nd Chronicles, which again is a recap of Kings and Samuel. Well, technically it's a recap of Kings and 2nd Kings. And then there's all these smaller books, Isaiah, Micah, Joel, but all these smaller books, Jeremiah, they happen before captivity, right? Before all the prophets, basically, besides Daniel and Ezekiel. All these other prophets we're going to be reading later. However, they should be read next. We should be reading them now, because all these prophets have to do with the different kings up until the eventual downfall of Jerusalem and taken away to Babylon. As Jeremiah is the last prophet before everybody's completely scattered, Jerusalem's destroyed, everybody's taken to Babylon or killed. Jeremiah gives those warnings. So yeah, just a side note, on that. So let's continue here. Last chapter, Second Chronicles, chapter 36. We're going to go over the last three kings. Now, if you remember yesterday, we last read about Josiah, which was the last good king in Jerusalem. He was the one who had a huge celebration for Passover and did lots of good, and served God with a full heart, with all his heart, which was a good example for what we should be doing today as Christians. True followers of Christ should be living for God with a full heart. So now we get his sons and his sons, who are, if I remember right, they're all evil, pretty much. The rest of them, there's no more good kings after Josiah. So 2 Chronicles 36, verse 1. Then the people of the land took Jehoahaz, the son of Josiah, and made him king in his father's stead in Jerusalem. Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem. Gee, I wonder why he only reigned 3 months. And the king of Egypt put him down at Jerusalem and condemned the land in 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. And the king of Egypt made Eliakim his brother king over Judah and Jerusalem, and turned his name to Jehoiakim. And Necho took Jehoahaz his brother and carried him to Egypt. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh his God. Against him came up Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and bound him in fetters to carry him to Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar also carried of the vessels of the house of Yahweh to Babylon, and put them in his temple at Babylon. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim, and his abominations which he did, and that which was found in him, behold, they are written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah, and Jehoiachin his son reigned in his stead. Jehoiachin was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months and 10 days in Jerusalem, and he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh. And when the year was expired, King Nebuchadnezzar sent and brought him to Babylon with the goodly vessels of the house of Yahweh, and made Zedekiah his brother king over Judah and Jerusalem. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh his God, and humbled not himself before Jeremiah the prophet, speaking from the mouth of Yahweh. And he also rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar, who made him swear by God, but he stiffened his neck and hardened his heart from turning unto Yahweh, God of Israel. Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of Yahweh which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. And Yahweh God of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes, and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. But they mocked the messengers of God, and despised his words, and misused his prophets, until the wrath of Yahweh arose against his people, till there was no remedy. So basically, all the prophets that I was talking about that we're going to be reading later, Jeremiah, Isaiah, all the other ones, I guess you could call them minor prophets and major prophets, but they all were not listened to, and none of the kings listened to them, hearkened to them, at least none of the evil kings. And then up until the point where Zedekiah, that's it, carried off to Babylon. Therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees, who slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary, and had no compassion upon a young man or maiden, old man, or him that stooped for age. He gave them all into his hand, and all the vessels of the house of God, great and small, and the treasures of the house of Yahweh, and all the treasures of the king and of his princes, all these he brought to Babylon. And they burnt the house of God, and brake down the wall of Jerusalem, and burnt all the places thereof with fire, and destroyed all the goodly vessels thereof. And them that they had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon, where they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of the kingdom of Persia, to fulfill the word of Yahweh by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Sabbaths. For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Sabbath, to fulfill 60 years. Now, if you remember, I'm going to probably repeat this every time so we can all remember it. A score is 20. So 60, 20, 40, 60, and 10, that makes 70. So 70 years in exile, right? 60 and 10 years is 70 years. Now in the first year of Cyrus king of Persia, that the word of Yahweh spoken by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished, Yahweh stirred up the spirit of Cyrus king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth hath Yahweh God of heaven given me, and he hath charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who is there among you of all his people? Yahweh his God be with him, and let him go up. All right. So we're done with Second Chronicles, which was basically a recap, and it kind of went fast over stuff, like very fast. So Zedekiah and everybody went to, well, actually, we already know what happened to Zedekiah. He was made to watch his sons be killed, and then they poked his eyes out, and then he was taken prisoner to Babylon, along with everybody else, Daniel too, and his friends, and all the people who escaped being killed went to Babylon, and all the treasures, and then they lay waste to Jerusalem. They utterly destroyed Jerusalem, tore down the walls, burnt down the temple, destroyed houses, and basically the whole city, completely and utterly. Like, this was the wrath of God at work here, because of how evil these kings were. And then, years later, that's why I said they skipped over it really fast. Years later, so Nebuchadnezzar died, and then Cyrus came along, and all the events with Cyrus is in Daniel, and so it talks about how all the stuff that happens in exile, which we're going to be reading later. So, and then eventually Cyrus is like, okay, I want people to go back to Jerusalem. And one more note I was going to say is, you know what's sad is we're going to find out later. Well, I've already read it, but we're going to find out later that the people in captivity, the children of Israel, a lot of them, probably I'd say most of them, do not want to go back. They want to stay in captivity, which is really crazy if you think about it. So, very, very crazy that they wouldn't want to go back to their own homeland. Alright, moving on to Ezra, which, like I said, Ezra is way later down the line. It's skipping over the 7 years of exile. But, yeah, here we go in Ezra, chapter 1, verse 1. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of Yahweh by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, Yahweh stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, Yahweh God of heaven hath given me all the kingdom of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of Yahweh God of Israel. He is the God, which is in Jerusalem. And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the man of his place help him with silver, and with gold, and with goods, and with beasts, beside the freewill offering for the house of God that is in Jerusalem. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised, to go build the house of Yahweh which is in Jerusalem. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver, gold, goods, with beasts, with precious things, beside all that was willingly offered. Also Cyrus the king brought forth the vessels of the house of Yahweh, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem, and had put them in the house of his gods. Even those did Cyrus king of Persia bring forth by the hand of Mithredath the treasurer, and numbered them unto Sheshbazzar the prince of Judah. And this is the number of them: 30 chargers of gold, 1,000 chargers of silver, 29 knives, 30 basins of gold, silver basins of a second sort, 410, and other vessels 1,000. All the vessels of gold and of silver were 5,400. All these did Sheshbazzar bring up with them of the captivity that were brought up from Babylon unto Jerusalem. Ezra 2. Now these are the children of the province that went up out of captivity, of those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon had carried away into Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, every one unto his city, which came with Zerubbabel, Jeshua, Nehemiah, Sariah, Realiah, Mordecai, Bilshan, Mispar, Bigvai, Rehum, Bana, the number of the men of the people of Israel. The children of Parosh, 2,172. The children of Shephatiah, 372. The children of Arah, 775. The children of Path Moab, the children of Jeshua and Joab, 2,812. The children of Elam, 1,254. The children of Zatu, 940. The children of Zekai, 703 score. The children of Bani, 640. The children of Bebai, 620. The children of Azgad, 1,222. The children of Adonai Kam, 666. That's an interesting number. The children of Bigvai, 2,056. The children of Adin, 454. The children of Eter of Hezekiah, 90. The children of Bezai, 323. The children of Jorah, 112. The children of Hashum, 223. The children of Gibbar, 90. The children of Bethlehem, 123. The men of Netophah, 50. The men of Anathoth, 128. The children of Azamaveth, 40. The children of Kirjatharim, Chephphara, and Beeroth, 742. The children of Ramah and Gaba, 621. The men of Michmas, 122. The men of Bethel and Ai, 223. The children of Nebo, 50. The children of Magbish, 156. The children of the other Elam, 1,254. The children of Harim, 320. The children of Lod, Hadid, and Ono, 725. The children of Jericho, 345. The children of Senah, 3,630. The priests, the children of Jedediah of the house of Jeshua, 973. The children of Immer, 1,052. The children of Pashur, 1,247. The children of Harim, 1,017. The Levites, the children of Jeshua and Kadmiel of the children of Hodaviah, 70. The singers, the children of Asaph, 128. The children of the porters, the children of Shalom, the children of Ater, the children of Talmon, the children of Akub, the children of Hatita, the children of Shobai, in all 139. The Nethinims, the children of Ziha, the children of Hasupa, the children of Taboath, the children of Keros, the children of Seah, the children of Padon, the children of Lebna, the children of Hagabah, the children of Akub, the children of Hagab, the children of Shalmai, the children of Hanan, the children of Gedil, the children of Gahar, the children of Riah, the children of Rezin, the children of Nakoda, the children of Kazam, the children of Uzzah, the children of Paseah, the children of Besai, the children of Asna, the children of Mehunim, the children of Nepusim, the children of Bakbuk, the children of Hakubpa, the children of Harher, the children of Bazluth, the children of Mehida, the children of Harsha, the children of Barkos, the children of Sisera, the children of Thama, the children of Neziah, the children of Hatipha, the children of Solomon's servant, the children of Sotai, the children of Sophereth, the children of Peruda, the children of Jalath, the children of Darkon, the children of Gedil, the children of Shephatiah, the children of Hatil, the children of Pochereth, of Zebaim, the children of Ami. All the Nethinims and all the children of Solomon's servants were 392. All these were they which went up from Telameh, Telharsha, Cherub, Adan, and Immer, but they could not show their father's house and their seed whether they were of Israel. The children of Deliah, the children of Tobiah, the children of Nekoda, 652. And of the children of the priests, the children of Habiah, the children of Koz, the children of Barzillai, which took a wife of the daughters of Barzillai the Gileadite, and was called after their name. These sought their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but they were not found. Therefore were they, as polluted, put from the priesthood. And the Tirshatha said unto them, that they should not eat the most holy things till there stood up a priest with Urim and Thummim. The whole congregation together was 42,303 score. So, 42,360. That's interesting. That's it. That's not a lot if you think about it. if you think about how many people resided in Jerusalem before. Yeah, it was a whole lot, maybe millions, in the millions. And here we only have a small fraction of that. So 40 and 2,360. Beside their servants and their maids, of whom were 7,337, and there were among them 200 singing men and singing women. Their horses were 736, their mules 245, their camels 435, their asses 6,720. And some of the chief of the fathers, when they came to the house of Yahweh, which is at Jerusalem, offered freely for the house of God to set it up in his place. And they gave up to the ability unto the treasure of the work 60 and 1,000 drams of gold, and 5,000 pounds of silver, and 100 priests' garments. So the priests and Levites and some of the people, and the singers and the porters and the Nethinims dwelt in their cities, and all Israel in their cities. Ezra 3. And when the 7th month was come, and the children of Israel were in the cities, the people gathered themselves together as one man to Jerusalem. Then stood up Jeshua the son of Jozadak, and his brethren the priests, and Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and his brethren, and builded the altar of God of Israel, to offer burnt offerings thereon, as it is written in the law of Moses the man of God. And they set up the altar upon his bases, for fear was upon them because of the people of those countries. And they offered burnt offerings thereon unto Yahweh, even burnt offerings morning and evening. They kept also the feast of tabernacles, as it is written, and offered the daily burnt offerings by number according to the custom, as the duty of every day required. And afterward offered the continual burnt offering, both of the new moons, and of all the set feasts of Yahweh that were consecrated, and every one that willingly offered a freewill offering unto Yahweh. From the first day of the 7th month began they to offer burnt offerings unto Yahweh, but the foundation of the temple of Yahweh was not yet laid. And they gave money also unto the masons, and to the carpenters, and meat and drink and oil unto them of Zidon, and to them of Tyre, to bring cedar trees from Lebanon to the sea of Joppa, according to the grant that they had of Cyrus king of Persia. Now in the 2nd year of their coming into the house of God at Jerusalem, in the 2nd month, began Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua the son of Jozadak, and the remnant of their brethren the priests and Levites, and all they that were come out of the captivity unto Jerusalem, and appointed the Levites from 20 years old and upward, to set forward the work of the house of Yahweh. Then stood Jeshua with his sons and his brethren, Kadmiel with his sons, the sons of Judah, together, to set forward the workmen in the house of God, the sons of Henadad, with their sons and their brethren, the Levites. And when the builders laid the foundation of their temple of Yahweh, they set the priests in their apparel with trumpets, and Levites, the sons of Asaph, with cymbals, to praise Yahweh after the ordinance of David king of Israel. And they sang together by course in praising and giving thanks unto Yahweh, because he is good, for his mercy endureth forever toward Israel. And all the people shouted with a great shout when they praised Yahweh, because the foundation of the house of Yahweh was laid. But many of the priests and Levites and chief of the fathers, who were ancient men that had seen the first house when the foundation of the house was laid before their eyes, wept with a loud voice, and many shouted aloud for joy, so that the people could not discern the noise of the shout of joy from the noise of the weeping of the people. For the people shouted with a loud shout, and the noise was heard afar off. Ezra 4. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity build the temple unto Yahweh God of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief fathers, and said to them, Let us build with you, for we seek your God as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Shaddon king of Ashur, which brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto him, Ye have nothing to do with us to build a house unto our God, but we ourselves together will build unto Yahweh God of Israel, as King Cyrus the king of Persia hath commanded us. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah, and troubled them in building, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose, all the days of Cyrus king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius king of Persia. And in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, wrote they unto him an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem. And in the days of Artaxerxes wrote Bishlam, Mithredath, Tabeel, and the rest of their companions unto Artaxerxes king of Persia. And the writing of the letter was written in the Syrian tongue, and interpreted in the Syrian tongue. Rehum the chancellor and Shimshai the scribe wrote a letter against Jerusalem to Artaxerxes, and the king in this sort. Then wrote Rehum the chancellor and Shimshai the scribe and the rest of their companions, the Dinites, and the Apharathites, and the Tarpelites, and the Apharsites, and the Archavites, and the Babylonians, and the Susanchites, and the Dehavites, and the Elamites, and the rest of the nations whom the great and noble Asnapper brought over and set in the cities of Samaria, and the rest that are on this side the river, and at such a time. This is the copy of the letter that they sent unto him, even unto Artaxerxes the king. Thy servants, the men on this side of the river, and at such a time, be it known to the king that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious in the bad city, and have set up the walls thereof, and joined the foundations. Be it known to the king that if this city be builded, the walls set up again, then will they not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and so thou shalt endamage the revenue of the kings. And because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet for us to see the king's dishonor, therefore have we sent and certified the king. That search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers, so shalt thou find in the book of the records, and know that this city is a rebellious city, and a hurtful unto kings and provinces, that they have moved sedition within the name of old time, for which cause was this city destroyed. We certify the king that, if this city be builded again, the walls thereof set up, by this means that thou shalt have no portion on this side of the river. And the king then sent the king an answer to Rehum the chancellor, and to Shimshai the scribe, and to the rest of their companions that dwell in Samaria, and unto the rest beyond the river, peace, and at such time. The letter which ye sent unto us hath been plainly read before me, and I commanded, and search hath been made, and it is found that this city of old time hath made insurrection against kings, and that rebellion and sedition have been made therein. There have been mighty kings also over Jerusalem, which have ruled over all countries beyond the river, and toll, tribute, and custom was paid unto them. Give ye now commandment to cause these men to cease, and that this city be not builded, until another commandment shall be given from me. Take heed now that ye fail not to do this. Why should damage grow to the hurt of the kings? And when the copy of King Artaxerxes' letter was read before Rehum and Shimshai the scribe and their companions, they went up in the haste to Jerusalem unto the Jews, and made them cease by force and power. Then ceased the work of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. So it ceased unto the 2nd year of the reign of Darius king of Persia. Ezra 5. And the prophets, Haggai the prophet, and Zechariah the son of Iddo, prophesied unto the Jews that were in Judah and Jerusalem in the name of God of Israel, even unto them. Then rose up Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua the son of Jozadak, and began to build the house of God which is at Jerusalem, and with them were the prophets of God helping them. At the same time came to them Tatnai, governor on the side river, and Shethar-boznai, and their companions, and said thus unto them, Who hath commanded you to build this house, and to make up this wall? Then said we unto them after this manner, What are the names of the men that make this building? But the gathered God was upon the elders of the Jews, that they could not cause them to cease till a matter came to Darius, and then they returned answer by letter concerning this matter. The copy of the letter that Tatnai, the governor of this side river, and Shethar-boznai, and his companions and Arpharchites, which were on this side of the river, sent unto Darius the king, they sent a letter unto him, wherein was written thus, Unto Darius the king, all peace. Be it known unto the king that we went into the province of Judea, to the house of the great God, which is builded with great stones, and timber is laid in on the walls, and the work goeth fast on, and prospered in their hands. Then asked we those elders, and said unto them, Who commanded you to build this house, to make up these walls? We asked their names also to certify thee, that we might write the names of the men that were the chief of them. And thus they returned us answer, saying, We are the servants of the God of heaven and earth, and build the house that was builded these many years ago, which a great king of Israel builded and set up. And after that our fathers had provoked the God of heaven unto wrath, and gave them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, the Chaldean, who destroyed this house, and carried the people away into Babylon. But in the 1st year of Cyrus, king of Babylon, the same year Cyrus made a decree to build this house of God. And the vessels also of gold and silver in the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar took out of the temple, was in Jerusalem, and brought them into the temple of Babylon, whose did Cyrus the king take out of the temple of Babylon, and they were delivered unto one whose name was Sheshbazzar, whom he had made governor. and said unto him, Take these vessels, go, carry them into the temple that is in Jerusalem, and let the house of God be builded in his place. Then came the same Sheshbazzar, and laid the foundation of the house of God, which is in Jerusalem, and since that time even until now hath it been in building, and yet it is not finished. Now therefore, if it seem good to the king, let there be search made in the king's treasure house, which is there at Babylon, whether it be so, that a decree was made of Cyrus the king to build this house of God at Jerusalem, and let the king send his pleasure to us concerning this matter. Ezra 6. Then Darius the king made a decree, and search was made in the house of the rolls, where the treasures were laid up in Babylon. And there was found at Achmetha, in the palace that is in the province of the Medes, a roll, and therein was a record thus written. In the first year of Cyrus the king, the same Cyrus the king made a decree concerning the house of God at Jerusalem. Let the house be builded, the place where they offer sacrifices, and let the foundations thereof be strongly laid, the height thereof 80 cubits, the breadth thereof 80 cubits, with 3 rows of great stones, and a row of new timber, and let the expenses be given out of the king's house. Also let the golden and silver vessels of the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar took from out of the temple which is at Jerusalem, and brought unto Babylon, be restored, and brought again into the temple which is at Jerusalem, every one to his place, and place them in the house of God. Now therefore, Tatnai, governor beyond the river Shethar-boznai, and your companions the Arpharsachites, which are beyond the river, be ye far from thence. Let the work of this house of God alone, let the governor of the Jews build, and the elders of the Jews build this house of God in his place. Moreover, I make a decree that ye shall do to the elders of the Jews for the building of this house of God, that of the king's goods, even the tribute beyond the river, forthwith expenses be given unto these men, that they be not hindered. And that which they have need of, both young bullocks and rams and lambs, for the burnt offerings of the God of heaven, wheat, salt, wine, and oil, according to the appointment of the priests which are at Jerusalem. Let it be given them day by day without fail, that they may offer sacrifices of sweet savors unto the God of heaven, and pray for the life of the king and of his sons. Also I've made a decree that whosoever shall alter this word, and let timber be pulled down from his house, and being set up, let him be hanged thereon, and let his house be made a dunghill for this. And the God that hath caused his name to dwell there destroy all kings and people that shall put their hand to the altar, and to destroy this house of God which is at Jerusalem. I, Darius, have made a decree, let it be done with speed. Then Tatnai, governor on this side river, Shethar-boznai, and their companions, according to that which Darius the king had sent, so they did speedily. And the elders of the Jews builded, and they prospered through the prophesying of Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo. And they builded and finished it, according to the commandment of the God of Israel, and according to the commandment of Cyrus, and Darius, and Artaxerxes, the king of Persia. And this house was finished on the 3rd day of the month of Adar, which is in the 6th year of the reign of Darius the king. And the children of Israel, the priests and Levites, and the rest of the children of the captivity, kept the dedication of this house of God with joy, and offered at the dedication of this house of God 100 bullocks, 200 rams, 400 lambs, and for a sin offering for all Israel, 12 he-goats, according to the number of the tribes of Israel. And they set the priests in their divisions, and the Levites in their courses, for the service of God which is at Jerusalem, as it is written in the book of Moses. And the children of the captivity kept the Passover upon the 14th day of the 1st month. The priests and Levites were purified together. All of them were pure, and killed the Passover for all the children of the captivity, and for their brethren the priests, and for themselves. And the children of Israel, which were come again out of captivity, and all such as had separated themselves unto them from the filthiness of the heathen of the land, to seek Yahweh God of Israel, did eat, and kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy, for Yahweh had made them joyful, and turned the heart of the king of Assyria unto them, to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of God, the God of Israel. Ezra 7. Now after these things, in the reign of Artaxerxes the king of Persia, Ezra the son of Sariah, the son of Azariah, the son of Hilkiah, the son of Shalom, the son of Zadok, the son of Ahitub, the son of Amariah, the son of Azariah, the son of Marioth, the son of Zariah, the son of Uzi, the son of Buki, the son of Abushua, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the chief priest. This Ezra went up from Babylon, and he was a ready scribe in the law of Moses, which Yahweh God of Israel had given. And the king granted him all his requests according to the hand of Yahweh his God upon him. And there went up some of the children of Israel, and of the priests and the Levites, and singers and porters and the Nethinims unto Jerusalem in the 7th year of Artaxerxes the king, and came to Jerusalem in the 5th month, which was in the 7th year of the king. For upon the 1st day of the 1st month began he to go up from Babylon, and on the 1st day of the 5th month came he to Jerusalem, according to the good hand of his God upon him. Man, that's a long journey, isn't it? Babylon is pretty far from Jerusalem, if you think about it. For Ezra had prepared his heart to seek the law of Yahweh, and to do it, and to teach in Israel statutes and judgments. Now this is the copy of the letter that the king Artaxerxes gave unto Ezra the priest, the scribe, even a scribe of the words of the commandments of Yahweh, and of his statutes to Israel. Artaxerxes, king of kings, unto Ezra the priest, a scribe of the law of God of heaven, perfect peace, and at such a time. I make a decree that all they of the people of Israel, and of his priests and Levites in my realm, which are minded of their own free will to go up to Jerusalem, go with thee. For as much as thou art sent to the king and of his 7 counselors, to inquire concerning Judah and Jerusalem, according to the law of thy God which is in thine hand, to carry the silver and gold which the king and his counselors have freely offered unto the God of Israel, whose habitation is in Jerusalem, and all the silver and gold that thou canst find in all the province of Babylon, with the freewill offering of the people, and of the priests offering willingly for the house of their God which is in Jerusalem, that thou mayest buy speedily with this money bullocks, rams, lambs, with their meat offerings and their drink offerings, and offer them upon the altar of the house of your God which is in Jerusalem. And whatsoever shall seem good unto thee and to thy brethren, to do with the rest of the silver and gold, do that after the will of your God. The vessels also that are given thee for the service of the house of thy God, those deliver thou before the God of Jerusalem. And whatsoever more shall be needful for the house of thy God, which thou shalt have occasion to bestow, bestow it out of the king's treasure house. And I, even I, Artaxerxes the king, do make a decree to all the treasurers which are beyond the river, and whatsoever Ezra the priest, the scribe of the law of God of heaven, shall require of you, it be done speedily. Unto 100 talents of silver, and to 100 measures of wheat, and to 100 baths of wine, and to 100 baths of oil, and salt, without prescribing how much. Whatsoever is commanded by the God of heaven, let it be diligently done for the house of God of heaven. For why should there be wrath against the realm of the king and his sons? Also we certify you that touching any of the priests and Levites, singers, porters, Nethinims, or ministers of this house of God, it shall not be lawful to impose toll, tribute, or custom upon them. And thou, Ezra, after the wisdom of thy God that is in thine hand, set magistrates and judges which may judge all the people that are beyond the river, all such as know the laws of thy God, and teach ye them that know them not. And whosoever will not do the law of thy God and the law of the king, let judgment be executed speedily upon him, whether it be unto death, or to banishment, or to confiscation of goods, or to imprisonment. Blessed be Yahweh, God of our fathers, which hath put such a thing as this in the king's heart, to beautify the house of Yahweh which is in Jerusalem, and hath extended mercy unto me before the king and his counselors, and before all the king's mighty princes. And I was strengthened at the hand of Yahweh my God was upon me, and I gathered together out of Israel chief men to go up with me. Ezra 8. These are now the chief of their fathers, and this is the genealogy of them that went up with me from Babylon, in the reign of Artaxerxes the king. Of the sons of Phinehas, Gershom, the sons of Ithamar, Daniel, the sons of David, Hattush, of the sons of Shechaniah, of the sons of Pharosh, Zechariah, and with him were reckoned by genealogy of the males 150. Of the sons of Pathmoab, Elihonai, the son of Zariah, and with him 200 males. Of the sons of Shechaniah, the son of Jahaziel, and with him 300 males. Of the sons also of Adin, Abed, the son of Jonathan, and with him 50 males. And of the sons of Elam, Jeshiah, the son of Athaliah, and with him 70 males. And of the sons of Shephatiah, Zebediah, the son of Michael, and with him 80 males. Of the sons of Joab, Obadiah, the son of Jehiel, and with him 218 males. Of the sons of Shelomith, the son of Josephiah, and with him 180 males. And of the sons of Bebai, Zechariah, the son of Bebai, and with him 28 males. And of the sons of Azgad, Johanan, the son of Hakatan, and with him 110 males. And of the last sons of Adonikam, whose name are these: Eliaphet, Jael, Shemaiah, and with them 60 males. Of the sons also of Bigvai, Uthai, and Zabud, and with them 70 males. And I gathered them together to the river that runneth to Ahava. There abode we in tents 3 days, and I viewed the people and the priests, and found there none of the sons of Levi. Then sent I for Eleazar, for Ariel, for Shemaiah, and for Elnathan, and for Jareb, and for Elnathan, and for Nathan, and for Zechariah, and for Meshullam, chief men, also for Joarib, and for Elnathan, men of understanding. And I sent them with commandment unto Edo, the chief at the place Casphia, and I told them what they should say unto Edo and to his brethren the Nethinims at the place Casphia, that they should bring unto us ministers for the house of our God. And by the good hand of our God upon us, they brought us a man of understanding of the sons of Mali, the son of Levi, the son of Israel, and Sherebiah with his sons and his brethren, 18. And Hashabiah, and with him Jeshiah of the sons of Merari, his brethren and their sons, 20. Also of the Nethinims, whom David and the princes had appointed for the service of the Levites, 220 Nethinims, all of them were expressed by name. Then I proclaimed a fast there at the river of Ahava, that we might afflict ourselves before our God to seek him a right way for us, and for our little ones, and for our substance. For I was ashamed to acquire of the king a band of soldiers and horsemen to help us against the enemy in the way, because we had spoken to the king, saying, The hand of our God is upon all them for good that seek him, but his power and his wrath is against all them that forsake him. So we fasted and besought our God for this, and he was entreated of us. Then I separated 12 of the chief of the priests, Sherebiah, Hashabiah, and 10 of their brethren with us, and weighed unto them silver and the gold and the vessels, even the offering of the house of our God, which the king and his counselors and his lords and all Israel there present had offered. And I weighed unto their hand 650 talents of silver, 6 vessels, and silver vessels 100 talents, and of gold 100 talents. Also 20 basins of gold, and 1,000 drams, 2 vessels of fine copper, precious as gold. And I said unto them, Ye are holy unto Yahweh, the vessels are holy also, and the silver and the gold are freewill offering unto Yahweh God of your fathers, which ye and keep them until ye weigh them before the chief, the priests, and Levites, and the chief of the fathers of Israel at Jerusalem, in the chambers of the house of Yahweh. So took the priests and Levites the weight of the silver and the gold, and the vessels, to bring them to Jerusalem into the house of our God. Then we departed from the river Ahava on the 12th day of the first month to go into Jerusalem, and the hand of our God was upon us, and he delivered us from the hand of the enemy, and of such as lay in wait by the way. And we came to Jerusalem and abode there 3 days. And on the 4th day was the silver and the gold, and the vessels weighed in the house of our God by the hand of Meremoth, the son of Uriah the priest, and with him was Eleazar the son of Phinehas, and with him was Jozabad the son of Jeshua, and Nodiah the son of Binui, Levites. By numbering weight of every one, and all the weight was written at that time. Also the children of those that had been carried away, which were come out of captivity, offered burnt offerings unto the God of Israel, 12 bullocks for all Israel, 96 rams, 77 lambs, 12 he-goats for a sin offering. All this was a burnt offering unto Yahweh. And they delivered the king's commissions unto the king's lieutenants and to the governors on this side of the river, and they furthered the people and the house of God. Okay. Well, that's going to be it for today. So, we read a good chunk of Ezra. Next is Nehemiah, and they both kind of go together. They're both around the same timing. So, very interesting stuff. We see that they did have some trouble rebuilding the temple, but then we see something crazy, which is Artaxerxes, the king of Persia, making basically another decree, reinforcing the original one done by Darius about building a temple, but also to give them the resources needed to not only build a temple, but offer sacrifices. So we see something insane happen. Well, from a human perspective, why would this pagan king that's so far away in Babylon care about building a temple in Judea and Jerusalem? And that just shows the hand of God at work, because under normal circumstances, if this wasn't the one true God, if this was not the one true God, which he is, then there would be no way these kings of Persia would ever allow their captors, their slaves basically, to be released and to go and build a temple. Like, and not only that, but give them back their gold and their silver and their vessels and all their stuff. So it's just crazy to think about, amazing in a sense, how that even happened. Because like I said, under normal circumstances, that would not happen. I mean, there's just no way. So this just is another proof that our God, the one true living God, the only God, is real, is true. So amazing stuff. So that's gonna be for today. Thanks for joining me. Hope you guys have a great evening, morning, noon, wherever you're at. And remember to put God first in everything you do. Have faith in him, trust in him, wait upon him, and you'll never be sorry. So hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, God willingly, I should say, with more Bible reading. So thanks and take care.